When an American actor plays a Brit, you can usually tell, or at least I can. There's a lot of grumbling and fanfare around it in hopes that they will pull it off, or perhaps end up like Dick Van Dyke. However, when a Brit plays an American, no one seems to say a thing, whether it's because they don't know or that they just don't care. We have no idea. However, some folks out there are completely and utterly fooled by these secret Brits and have no idea that they don't hail from their own country. So today on Beyond the Screen, we're going to be counting down our list of the top 10 actors you never knew were British. Let's jump in. Coming in at 10, Andrew Lincoln. The Walking Dead's Rick Grimes was a fan favourite from episode 1 of the popular AMC show about the undead, but little did most fans know that Rick Grimes, played by Andrew Lincoln, was actually British, with his fairly strong southern accent being almost completely flawless throughout the entirety of the show. However, if you remember a little movie called Love Actually, you will remember Andrew Lincoln as the lovesick best friend who adorably confesses his feelings to Keira Knightley with cue cards and a boombox. Yep, that is his native accent, and that is also the film that arguably shot him into superstardom. Coming in at 9, Charlie Hunnam. Oh, Charlie Hunnam. He had to be on our list because his accent is utterly baffling. And why is that? Because he's British, yet can't even seem to nail his own accent. Most will know this actor from the hit series Sons of Anarchy, where he played Jackson Jax Teller, the vice president of a gangster motorcycle club. However, prior to this, his breakout role was on Queer as Folk, a British television series that chronicled the lives of 3 gay men living in Manchester. However, a very interesting nugget of information for you Hunnam fans out there: Charlie was born in Newcastle to a legitimate gangster, making his role in Sons of Anarchy incredibly fitting and quite terrifying. Coming in at 8, Rosamund Pike. For a lot of North American fans, prior to the release of Gone Girl, Rosamund Pike was relatively unknown. So, as you would expect, many just assumed she was American when they saw her on the big screen alongside Ben Affleck. However, they were very, very wrong. Rosamund Pike is, of course, a Brit born in London town, and began her acting career on stage in productions like Romeo and Juliet. She has also starred in some huge films back in my motherland, including Pride and Prejudice and Die Another Day. Coming in at 7, Aaron Taylor-Johnson. For most, Aaron Taylor-Johnson first appeared on their screens in the action comedy Kick-Ass back in 2010. In which Aaron played Dave Lazowski, an unnoticed high school kid who decides to become a superhero. It's fun and gory and incredibly crude, but we all loved it, and it shot Aaron into superstardom. However, it came as a shock to a lot of people to discover this actor was actually British. That's right, he was born in High Wycombe, Buckinghamshire back in 1990, and even starred in a handful of British TV shows and movies before hitting the big leagues in the States, with the actor going on to star in Avengers Age of Ultron, Nocturnal Animals, and A Million Little Pieces. Coming in at 6, Naomi Watts. Now, you may think me crazy for putting Naomi Watts on this list, but don't hate, just listen. Even I myself thought Naomi Watts was Aussie through and through, but I too was wrong. Naomi was actually born in Shoreham, Kent, before moving to Australia later on in life. It wasn't until then that she began acting on shows like Home and Away, Brides of Christ, and Hey Dad. The actress eventually moved to the States in the 90s, which is when she began to star in big American-made films like Tank Girl, Mulholland Drive, The Ring, and much, much more. However, for a long period of time, Naomi didn't enjoy her newfound success or Americanized lifestyle. I quote, "There was a time I was very much blaming the way I felt on LA, that it was a vacuum of creativity, of humor or anything organic, and I was really angry at the place. But then today I feel completely different. I love LA." Coming in at 5, Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is one of the best actors of our generation. Fact. He is so good, in fact, that no one quite knows where he's from, simply because he nails every single accent he is required to do for a part. His breakout role in the States was of course in Christopher Nolan's Inception, alongside Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, before he went on to team up with Nolan again in The Dark Knight Rises, with the actor taking on the role of Bane. In the vast majority of his films, he does an exceptional American accent. But did you know Tom was actually born in Hammersmith, London? Well, OG fans of the actor will. If you've ever seen Bronson or Layer Cake, you will know that Hardy has an incredibly thick London accent. The more you know. Coming in at 4, Christian Bale. This may come as a shock to a lot of you, but perhaps not our older viewers out there who would remember Christian Bale in the classic film Empire of the Sun, released all the way back in 1987. If you knew of this film, you would also know that Christian Bale is very British. More interesting still, the actor was born in Wales but does not consider himself Welsh, with he himself stating that he's English. On screen it is incredibly difficult to tell that Bale is from Britain, with the actor nailing any and every accent he is required to do. However, did you know the actor almost called it quits on the film industry right at the very beginning? Remember Empire of the Sun? Yeah, well, looking back on that moment in his life, Bale stated, I quote, "I enjoyed making the film, but I was shocked when I received all the attention when I got home to Bournemouth. Girls were all over me, boys wanted to fight me, and I was being asked to open local theatres when all I wanted to do was ride my BMX bike in the woods. I told my parents I wasn't interested in doing anything again because the attention ruined it." Well, I think we're all glad he changed his mind, with the actor going on to win an Academy Award for his role in the 2011 drama The Fighter. Coming in at 3, Tom Holland. Of course, Spider-Man himself has to make an appearance. For a lot of people, Tom Holland is only just coming to their attention now thanks to the MCU, with the actor first appearing as Spider-Man in the Marvel movie Captain America Civil War, before going on to build his own legacy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, it came as a shock to some people to discover that Tom is actually British. The actor was born on June 1st, 1996 in Kingston upon Thames, and prior to Marvel, starred in a handful of movies. His breakout role, however, was as Lucas in the 2012 drama The Impossible, where he played the son of Naomi Watts and Ewan McGregor during the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. He was absolutely incredible and completely stole the limelight from Watts and McGregor. Check it out if you haven't. Coming in at number 2, Daniel Kaluuya. This Academy Award nominated actor shot to fame when he starred in the smash hit 2017 film Get Out, directed by Jordan Peele. It seemed to most that he came out of nowhere, completely blowing everyone away in the process. However, Daniel has been on the scene for a long time prior to Get Out, with the British actor who was born in London starring in things like Skins, Doctor Who, Babylon and Silent Witness. Yep, this actor for the most part was ever present in my life growing up in the UK, appearing in so many of my favourite shows, and now in 2019 he's one of the most sought after actors in the industry. Good on you, Daniel. And finally, in at number 1, Gillian Anderson. Honestly, there is no other person we could put at number 1, simply because Gillian Anderson is a complete and utter enigma. Most will be familiar with this actress from the fan favourite sci-fi series The X-Files, where she played Agent Scully. Now, the actress was born in Chicago but raised in London, and what makes her an enigma, like I said previously, is that she's bidialectical, which means she is capable of using 2 dialects of a language depending on her location. AKA, when she's in the States, she speaks in an American accent, and when she's in the UK, she speaks in an English accent. And both accents are flawless, which only adds to people's confusion. Throughout her long career, she has been able to effortlessly slip in and out of accents, which has proved to be a helpful skill, with the actress still appearing on our big screen and small screens. Things like Sex Education, The Crown, and of course the most recent seasons of The X-Files that were released in 2016 and came to an end in 2018. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Are there any secret Brits that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. If you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another Beyond the Screen vid. And until next time, see you later.